First off, I want to thank Penn State for allowing me to come and speak today. My name, as she says, Bryan Mull. I have my own business called Mull Consulting. So I'm on the 5th floor of the Works. I do website design, internet marketing consulting for businesses in the Reading area. Now, when I got asked to do this speaking engagement, I kind of did a little bit different format. I hit the streets with this one. And what I mean by that is I went to my entire network of business colleagues and people that I work with and asked them the question, what tips would you give to aspiring business owners? And when I got the answers back, they were varied, but many of them fit the same category. So what I did is I put together the top 6 tips that aspiring entrepreneurs should keep in mind if you're thinking of starting a business. And I imagine the people in this room, if you're on for this thread, that you probably are thinking about starting a business at some point. So tip number 1 right off the bat is write a business plan. You wouldn't go into war without a strategy or a plan. You wouldn't go on a family vacation without a map or directions. Thus, you would not want to go start a business without writing out a business plan. I've seen a lot of business owners jump in 2 feet right into the business to start working on it without a plan. And when you write a plan, you'll save yourself a lot of time, a lot of money, and heartache. So it's something that every business owner needs to do when they first start out. And it has to have the right elements. So you need an overview, your products and services, who your competition is, financial estimates, just the basic stuff. You don't need to have a 100-page business plan, but you do need to have one. In line with that, if you're starting a business with a business partner, definitely write a business plan, and definitely make sure that you include an operational guide that says who's going to do what at what times, who's responsible for what, because in the beginning you're all energetic and you want to get going and get it started, and you don't want to think about that stuff, but you really need to. So another thing you should also keep in mind with your business partner plan is an exit strategy. What happens if one of the business partners wants to leave? Like I said, you don't want to think about that in the beginning, but it's going to come up, and it's something that everybody should include within there. So the second tip is identify your resources and use to your advantage. Now, that's something Carol definitely touched on. Every single person in this room, if we're going to all try to start a business today, we all have a different hand of cards dealt with us. Everybody here has different skill sets and resources available to them. If you're going to start a business, you need to leverage those to your advantage. So the first thing is look at yourself. What are your skill sets? Are you a numbers person? Are you a better writer? You need to know where your own skill sets are at. And then you also need to keep in mind what you have available to you. Do you have $30,000 in cash sitting there? Do you have great credit? If you do, you're probably going to have a better chance of getting the business going with someone with no money. So, and it also comes to what you have available as your family as well and your friends. If you have an uncle who's a lawyer, hit him up for legal advice. If you have a brother or a friend that's an accountant, you might want to ask them for financial advice as well. So identify your resources, use to your advantage, but in light with that one is my tip number 3, you have to know where your money's at. You got to know who owes you, what you owe, and where your money is at all times. And maybe for myself, I'm not a numbers person, so I like web design, I like the strategy, I like the marketing end, but numbers, you start talking to me about numbers and my eyes glaze over. But I can't be that way, because if I'm not on my numbers, then I'm either losing money, or people ripping me off, or a combination of all of the above. So you have to know where your money's at and have a good understanding of cash flow, what's going on every single month, every single week. 4th tip, got this from a friend who's a lab technician here at Penn State. Find a mentor. If you can find yourself a mentor, someone in your business that you're thinking of starting that's already done it and is successful and they're willing to give you tips and advice, you should try to do your best to align yourself with that person to get them on your team. And it's not always so easy. For myself, I have no mentor in my world. And the reason why I equate to it is the web changes so much. Everything's changed in 2 or 3 years. So any mentor that I look to in the web world is doing exactly what I'm doing, which is figuring it out as you go. So I took it to the next level and find a business that's similar to yours. My mentor that I have now, he's owned many businesses, one of them being the contracting business. That's where I get a lot of my advice. I contract people, he used to contract people, so that's a great relationship and someone that I can look up to and ask for advice when times get tough. And if you can't find a mentor, the Berks Chamber has their SCORE program. I'm not sure how many people are familiar with that, but it's seasoned vets of the business game that are involved with the chamber and they're willing to give you their advice and meet with them. And the Chamber also has their professional resource program, which really isn't mentoring, but it'll get you to people that can help you answer specific questions that you may have in regards to your specific challenge. So moving right along here, number 5, actively network within your market and industry. Now that's a two-part one. So actively network within your market. Okay, I do business in the Reading area. I make it a point to go out and network to Reading business owners, whether it's in the Chamber or B&I or whatever it may be. You go out there, you meet people, you shake hands, you kiss babies, you do all that stuff, because what it does is it gets you in front of them and shows them that you're a real person in a real business, not just another nameless, faceless, yeah, I found them on Google search, but who are they? You know, so they know that you're a real person. And to follow up with that, you also need a network of people within your industry. And I can personally attest to this. Some of the best developers and resources that I have now are people that I met at Philadelphia web designer networking events. All I had to do was buy one round of beers at one table, and I had 3 new developers that I could go to and a new hosting company. It was that easy. I'm not saying that you just want to go out and drink like that, but you want to go out and meet people and networking, because number one, when you network within your own market, you right here in front of them. And number two, when you network within your own industry, you get to come up with new tips, strategies, and other possible business partners that you might not normally get connected to. So, our last tip, number 6. This one really didn't come from the group. This one's more my own. If I had to pick one of these, it'd probably be the most important over my 10 years, is be mindful of your time and be mindful of time wasters. So if you're going to start your own business, you're your own boss. And that's the reason why everybody wants to do it. I want to be my own boss. Well, being your own boss is a double-sided sword all the way, because you get up in the morning, you have to make sure that you get in and do what you have to do. And you might have friends or other business partners that are trying to pull you in all sorts of different directions, but you have to make sure that you stay focused on what you're supposed to be doing. And I have examples. Friends with no jobs. They're one that will definitely waste your time because they don't have anything to do. So they'll try to get you to do stuff with them. Business owners that want free advice. I mean, people will try to use you and not pay for your services, so you have to be very mindful of that. Another one is people that say they have a project but don't have any money. So, I mean, and as you get more mature in your business life, you'll be able to identify these people and gracefully get out of their way. You know, like, hey, I can't help you right now, but whatever. But you don't want to be rude to them or mean, because you don't want to burn bridges. So, that's my top 6 tips, and I think if you keep those in mind, you'd be on your way to not being one of the statistics of the business that bad. So, there you go.